Thanks for joining us today on our Afluencer podcast. Got a special treat for our health, fitness, wellness-minded folks. We've got author Doland Ruiz here, author of How to Lose 10 Pounds in 30 Days, kind of a number one fitness book on Amazon, looking to get some additional traction with influencers. So we're going to talk to Doland today about some health tips, lifestyle tips, ideas about losing weight and doing so in a healthy manner. So let's start there, and then we'll eventually get into our collab opportunity. So Doland, let's kick things off. Tell us about yourself, your fitness journey.
Hi, Brett. Thanks for having me. I've always been into health and fitness, working out, that type of thing. But it wasn't until kind of my late 20s that I started getting more serious into it, more kind of on an educational aspect of it. So I actually took a course to become a certified personal trainer. And so I got my license for that. And from there, I just started researching just whatever people need. And it seems that most people are looking to lose weight, and not that many people are looking to gain muscle as compared to losing weight. So that's what I started focusing on.
I find that a lot in my own life as well. You're in your 20s and you don't have time for taking care of yourself, but you kind of think, oh, I'm close to getting back into shape, but you're actually not as each year goes by, and you kind of slip further and further. And then, hopefully kind of come back around as you did. So with your book, how'd you come up with the idea for 10 pounds in 30 days and why not 20 or 30 pounds in 30 days? And I'm guessing, based on your focus and the importance of, building muscle alongside of this, that's a more sustainable long-term approach to gain the muscle, you lose the fat. And that's why, hey, maybe we're going to drop some net pounds early on, but it's not a huge weight loss because we're trying to transform the body. But I'll let you kind of go ahead and you can educate me on that.
That's correct. I do see a lot of products that promote something like 10 pounds a week or something ridiculous like that, which would be like 40 a month. But that's one of the things that I write in my book, and also in the blogs that I used to write, that when they're doing that, you're not losing the type of weight that you're trying to lose. Because when people say lose weight, that's one of the points of 10 and 30 fitness, that you're not really trying to lose weight, you're trying to lose the excess body fat. And I think that's one of the major problems in health, at least here in the United States. People are focusing on weight when they should be focusing on the extra body fat. Because it's not the weight that's going to kill you and shorten your lifespan. It's the extra body fat, particularly around women. So in order to do that, 10 pounds in a month is actually pretty aggressive from an educational standpoint. And what I focus on is trying to get rid of the body fat while preserving muscle. And I really believe that that's the key to doing it the correct way, preserving muscle. And the way to do that is by keeping your protein up, lifting weights. That's very important. Resistance training, even when you're trying to lose weight. When you're not thinking about putting on muscle, resistance training along with high protein is what's going to be the key to letting you lose the body fat and eventually lose the 10 pounds a month.
And if I made you pick one thing, and that was kind of leading into my question, I was going to ask about nutrition versus fitness. So if we're going to say, okay, we've got one initial lever to pull to get this thing going, would it be then strength training over nutrition, which I guess would be protein intake? So strength training is going to be number one, and then protein is going to kind of be what you would want to supplement that from an impact standpoint?
I would say if we had to put it in order, of course, all things work equally. We all know that, and we figure that. But if we had to put it in order, I would say diet is number one when it comes to losing weight. And more specifically, under the diet category is making sure you do not go over your prescribed daily caloric intake, which I prescribe in the book based on your exact body weight. So I give you a number, you multiply it by your weight, and that's your maintenance. And then there's another number, a lower number, and that number is your 20% deficit. So if you're eating at a 20% deficit, which again is pretty aggressive by fitness standards, if you stick to that every single day, you will lose the 10 pounds in a month. So I would say making sure you do not go over your 20% deficit number is number one, followed number two by equally high protein and resistance training. Those would have to be equal in my book.
And as you go forward then on the deficit, do you bring people closer to their maintenance level, or do you recommend always having some level of deficit, maybe not 20%, but sort of that some percentage to keep you on the lean side? Or are we going back to sea level, if you will, and just consuming and doing the strength at that point?
Right. Well, that's one of the things of 10 and 30 fitness, that I don't start you off at 20% deficit. A lot of people, or most people, are not used to even being accountable at all of how much they're eating, right? So to go from just eating for pleasure to suddenly going to a 20% deficit and keeping track, or better yet, planning your calories for the day, it's too much of an impact. So I start you off, if you've never counted calories and you're not really into exercise, then I start you off at maintenance for the first week. Just keeping track of your calories, getting used to knowing what you eat and how much you eat in a day. And then week two, I start you off at a gradual deficit, something like 10%. Week three would be 15%, and finally week four would be the 20% deficit. So it's gradual. It's kind of the beauty of my book, because we don't want the impact to deter somebody.
You don't want to be hungry right away, and then that deters you because you're starving all the time and you float away.
Yeah, right. And then also, once you reach your goal, there's no need to keep eating at a deficit, because you're not trying to lose more body fat or more weight. So at that point, you would hit your maintenance number, which I'll tell you, as far as I calculated, the maintenance number is 15. So you would multiply 15 times your lean body weight if you're trying to lose weight, and that would be maintenance. And of course, you always have to adjust for activity levels and genetics and everything. So if after a week you're on your maintenance and you end up going up in weight and you did everything correctly, then 15 was a little too much. Try 14 for week two.
Very good. So let's get into the specifics of marketing the book here. What's some of the feedback that you've gotten so far? And then what are your future goals in terms of promoting the book?
Yeah, I've gotten great feedback. A lot of people really enjoy it, and it works for them. It also worked for me, and that's why I decided to write the book, because I put together my plan, and I did it a couple of times, and people notice. People notice you losing 10 pounds or even gaining 10 pounds, because I actually started with a gain 10 pounds program for myself, so I got a little too skinny. And people noticed when I did that. When I did the first month of gain 10 pounds in 30 days, when I went back to school, because I was in college when I did that, people just complimented it and were kind of surprised. That's only 30 days. And if you gain 10 pounds of muscle, that's a big deal. And people noticed. And then again, I did it when I was in my 30s, when I was at work. Same thing. I did my own program for gain. And people were looking at me and saying, wow, you've been hitting the gym. And they weren't saying, you're gaining weight, you're getting fat, or you've been eating a lot of pizza. No, they were saying you're putting on muscle. So in the same way, people notice when you lose the 10 pounds in 30 days, because it's actually a pretty drastic difference. And if you do it twice, that's 20 pounds in just a couple of months, people will notice. And people have been putting some pretty good comments on the Amazon reviews and also on my website. People are liking it, and they're sharing it with their friends.
That's great. That's great. So I assume next step here is to get the word out further, keep building that Amazon presence, the reviews, all the good comments. And I assume this is what kind of took you over to the influencer world. What most attracted you about working with influencers and creators in terms of getting the word out about how to lose 10 pounds in 30 days?
Well, I think there's no better marketing than word of mouth and testimonial marketing. If you have somebody that you trust, maybe you've been following them for a while, maybe you know them personally, and you see them do it, you're going to want to know, and you're interested in doing it yourself, you're going to want to know what they did, and you're going to want them to share with you. So I think that's one of the best ways to market anything. And nowadays, I think social media marketing, like TikTok or Instagram, especially for health and fitness, it's one of the top ways, if not the top way, to market any kind of health and fitness product. You have influencers showing what they did. They're showing you the brands that they love. They're talking about it. They're posting videos. They might be doing the exercises. I think that's just a fantastic way to market anything.
Seems like it's a natural methodology also that would really lend itself well. You've done a great job describing it for me today, and this is the type of thing that very logical in terms of the calorie deficit, building the strength, that someone could do a great job explaining to their followers. So let me turn things and talk to our influencers out there, and specifically about your collabs that you have going with our How to Lose 10 Pounds in 30 Days. So what types of influencers and creators and micro influencers and partners and whatever term we want to use, but what types of people are we looking to work with to promote the book?
I'm looking mostly in the health, fitness, and beauty categories. My book seems to be purchased, I would say something like 60% by women and 40% by men. Right now, what I'm reaching out to is influencers who have an audience of mostly women who market health, fitness, beauty products to women. Of course, it'll be great for men too, but most of the influencers that I reach and I contact are usually women. Some men, I've invited some men, and as long as they have a pretty good following, either on TikTok, it would be my number one platform preferred, and then Instagram would be second. And as long as they have a pretty good following and they do promote products, I will invite them or I will accept their applications.
Great. And then we're selling the book through your website here. I know it's available on Amazon, but for the purposes of the collab here, what are the influencer be sending people to your book website to then make the sale there and then have their commissions be tracked via that platform?
Correct. Yeah. The book sells on Amazon. That's where it's been selling for like 6 years. But for the influencers, they would be selling it through my page, through a specific page, and it's all automatic. It has everything ready to go. I don't even have to touch it. They get paid the percentage that they signed up for.
Perfect. Well, thanks for joining us today, Doland. How to Lose 10 Pounds in 30 Days. Any final words that we can share with our influencers for you here? I'll give you the final word.
I would say stay positive. Always look forward. Life is great. Stay healthy. Stay fit. Have fun.
Stay healthy. Have fun. You look like Doland here. Taking the interview in. Lose the pounds, but like Doland said, keep the strength so we don't get skinny soft here. You got to do the strength training throughout, so that it's all about looking good, ultimately being healthier throughout all of this. So great. It was great stuff. Thanks again, Doland, for joining.